Have you ever thought that the real secret to an amazing garden isn't about working harder, but, well, working smarter by doing less? What if the key to truly healthy plants is to just put down the shovel and let nature's own little experts take the lead? Let's dig into that idea. Or rather, let's not dig.
I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? We're so used to this idea of digging and turning the soil into a perfect, fluffy garden bed. But today, we're going to flip that idea on its head and explore a way of gardening that's all about partnering with the incredible world that's already living right under our feet. All right, so let's get into it, starting with that really common practice, tillage. It's basically a fancy word for digging, plowing, turning over the soil. Forever, it's been seen as step one for getting a garden ready. You know, to break up hard soil and get rid of weeds. But what if it's actually doing more harm than good? Okay, think of tilling like setting off a mini earthquake in the microscopic world of your soil. It just shatters this whole delicate world, disrupting the very creatures that keep your soil alive and healthy. The no-till way, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. When you leave the soil alone, you protect that life, you let it do its thing, and it builds this amazing, stable, and super healthy home for your plants. So if we're not supposed to be digging, who's going to do all the work? This is where we get to the real stars of the show, the unsung heroes who do it way better than we can, and for free. It's time to meet nature's ploughs. That's right, the humble earthworm. You know, scientists actually call them ecosystem engineers, which is just the perfect name. As they wiggle through the ground, they're constantly burrowing, eating up old leaves and bits of organic stuff, and leaving behind these super nutrient-rich little pellets called castings. They're basically the world's best tillers, aerating and fertilizing all in one gentle go. And here's the kicker. Here's the problem. The very act of tilling, the thing we thought was helping our gardens, is absolutely devastating to our little worm workforce. The science on this is crystal clear. It's a massive disturbance that just wipes out their populations. And you might be wondering, just how big of an impact are we talking about? Well, a huge global analysis of over 165 studies found that no-till soil has, on average, a staggering 137% more earthworms. I mean, think about that. Just by not digging, you can more than double your population of these little garden helpers. It's amazing. And when you get more worms, something truly magical starts to happen. They kick off this incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing cycle that just keeps making your whole garden better and better. Researchers have a name for it, the earthworm-driven virtuous cycle. And it's such a beautiful idea, really. More worms create healthier, better-structured soil. That healthier soil can then support an even bigger family of worms, which in turn makes the soil even more amazing. It's this beautiful feedback loop that leads right to healthier plants and, yep, bigger harvests. And get this, it's not just about the number of worms. That same global study found a nearly 200% increase in what they call earthworm biomass. All that means is that the total weight of all the worms in the soil nearly triples. So you don't just have more worms, you have a bigger, stronger, and much more effective workforce down there. So what does this incredible workforce actually do? Well, for starters, they're master plumbers. All those tunnels they dig act like perfect little drainage pipes, letting water soak deep into the soil. In fact, research shows that soil that's full of earthworms can drain up to 10 times faster. That means no more waterlogged roots for your plants after a big rainstorm. And they're not just plumbers, they're also little fertilizer factories on the move. As worms digest all that organic stuff, they concentrate the nutrients. Their castings, which is really just a polite word for worm poop, are like black gold for your garden. Studies show that these castings can release 4 times more phosphorus that plants can actually use than the soil right next to them. So here's what that cycle looks like, step by step. First, the worms munch on dead leaves and stuff on the surface. Simple enough. Second, as they move around, they create all those tunnels for air and water, and they leave behind those amazing nutrient-packed castings. Third, this improves literally everything. The soil structure, its fertility, how well it holds onto water, and finally, you get healthier plants, which then provide more food for the worms as they drop leaves, and the whole cycle starts all over again, but even stronger this time. And this makes a huge difference in the real world. One study simulated a really heavy rainstorm and found that conventionally tilled soil could only soak up about 49 millimeters of water per hour. But the no-till soil, full of all those worm superhighways, absorbed nearly double that amount. That means less precious water running off your garden and more of it stored right where your plants can get to it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great for big farms, but what about my little garden or the pots on my balcony? Well, here's the wonderful news. These same rules apply at any scale. You can create this exact same virtuous cycle right in your own home.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to this. It's from a home gardener on Reddit who was trying no-till in a big pot. They said they were surprised because they'd always been told composting worms wouldn't survive, but found them 100% thriving. And honestly, this is a story we hear all the time once people create the right kind of home for them.
So, how do you do it? It's actually really simple. First, start with a soil mix that's full of organic matter. Think good compost, not just plain old potting soil. Then, keep it moist, kind of like a wrung-out sponge. And here's the most important part. Feed your worms. Add a nice layer of mulch on top, like straw, shredded leaves, or even some kitchen scraps. And finally, just try to keep the soil covered and avoid stepping on it and packing it down.
Oh, and a quick pro tip for all you container gardeners out there. Fabric pots are amazing for this. They let the soil breathe from the sides, which helps keep it from getting too dense or waterlogged. It's like building a 5-star hotel for your happy little worms.
You know, when it comes down to it, this is what it's all about. Gardening doesn't have to be this constant battle against weeds and hard soil. The moment we stop trying to fight nature and start working with it, everything just gets simpler, stronger, and way more fun.
It really does all come back to that simple partnership. Healthy soil leads to healthy worms, and healthy worms create even healthier soil. This quote just captures that feeling perfectly. Every single seed you pop into that living soil is so much more than a future vegetable. It's a real step towards connecting with nature, nourishing yourself, and finding that simple, profound joy that comes from helping something grow.
So, the only question left is, what are you going to plant today?